I have my list compiled for this video. I'm going to start off with the video that I made down there at the wrecking yard. Now, I made and had posted a video. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. I was kind of explaining what a self-service auto wrecking yard is. And this stupid phone is goofy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But anyway, it had posted about half a second of that video. That's that video that's up there. It's about half a second. But anyway, I did get one tire down there. Now, there are several things I was looking for. There's like a little printed circuit board that holds the light bulbs, the back of the pickup, like the tail light, the backup light, that type of thing. And I was looking for one of those. Of course, those are common problem. Those are common things to get robbed. That and little plastic lenses, they're hard to find. Of course, you can buy them off Amazon. That piece with the board in there is about 20 some bucks. What I'll probably do is just wire up two separate brake lights on top of the little bit higher up on the up in the bed, just rather than mess with those lights in there. I'll probably just do something like that. But anyway, it's about a half a second long video. That was my wrecking yard video. I'll need to walk into a wrecking yard and just make another video sometime. Sometime when I'm in in Phoenix, I'll make another wrecking yard. My favorite yard is the one that I was in. That's about 25th Avenue and Buckeye Road, right on Buckeye Road. It's but between Buckeye, Interstate 10 is maybe about 2.5 miles. So if you figure it's on, get off of Interstate 10 on 27th Avenue, take that south, hang a left, and then you run right into that yard. If you want directions off of Interstate 10. Now WSM, Western Sales Management, that's that yard on 67th Avenue. That's that last video that I posted. It's on 67th Avenue, about a quarter mile south from Buckeye Road, or about maybe 2.5 miles south from Interstate 10. You just get right off on 67th Avenue, keep heading south, and run right into that yard. That's the WSM if you want to run down there. Now let me go for Eva Zubeck. Now I haven't watched this video yet. Just saw a few second or two off of YouTube. I'll probably go download it and then watch it after I've downloaded it. But anyway, she's from Poland. She'll visit the U.S. periodically. Now she was in this video. She was with 4 or 5 of her people from other parts of the world, and they were somewhere, I think Pacific Northwest, somewhere pretending to be Americans. And maybe I don't get the point. I don't know. I'm just not quite sure. Now, I wouldn't go into another part of the world and pretend to be somebody else. If I'm missing something, I'll pick it up once I watch the video. Let's see, for Wondering Gypsy, a comment she made to me over on that video I'd made about 2 years ago. She said she found me creepy. Do you find me creepy? Do my visit? If you do, you do. You're not gonna hurt my feelings or anything like that. Maybe I can do something if I don't appear so creepy or not. I'm wondering if Gypsy really finds me creepy or just put that on. Just had that for a comment on that video. I know she's watching my videos. And the door is always open. If you want to make a collab video with me, we can somewhere. Trying to read my own writing here. Let me get to these circuits. Now this was, because I covered them earlier, but I don't think I really covered everything. Now this is something that Mr. Carlson, his YouTube channel is Mr. Carlson's Lab. We're saying these tubes, these little vacuum tubes. Now the common use tube, like if you're going to have a guitar amp or some type of audio frequency amp, I don't know if you can see this circuit. That's one with a power transformer with a 6-volt output. That was a common setup in some of the bigger old TVs, and a few radios use that. Most of them would have the series filaments for the vacuum tubes. There's only a handful of people that are real purists that use the vacuum tube anymore. But what Mr. Carlson was saying, these tubes that like the 6-volt, 12-volt tubes, they're getting expensive. But if you want to use a little more common tube, that if you could just wire the filaments in series, those tubes were a little bit cheaper. And what he was saying, these tubes will remain a little bit cheaper until people start figuring out that you can wire these filaments in series. As long as the amperage on each filament is the same, as long as the total voltage equals 120 volts, you can string them together in series and power them from 120 volts. Because there were old TV sets that were wired that way. let's say we just have all the tubes together, the filament voltage all equal to 120 volts. That was a pretty common setup. But anyway, let me show you this circuit. That has, I just show 3 vacuum tubes there, but each tube is in parallel, and they're powered from this transformer, and that powered the filaments. But you can, now this, I showed 5 tubes in that one. They're all wired in series. These tubes are, you can get those tubes a lot cheaper, is what Mr. Carlson was saying, but you got to be careful that you make sure that the total voltage, the total of all the filaments is 120 volts, and the amperage has to be the same for each tube. There are tubes made specifically for that application. Let me show you another typical circuit. Now, if you want, you can find these circuits. Here, if you search here on YouTube just for different, this is audio. The reason I'm showing this one, you can see it there. This is highly simplified, but the reason I'm showing this one, this tube, remember this was like 35, 45 volts, something like that. It was in series with the motor for, for a turntable, for a phonograph. This is the audio tube. There's something like the circuit that I've shown here. Now, I didn't put any values on there. Now, if you want this circuit, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Just with one just like this. I remember as a kid, I'd found this turntable somewhere, and it needed a tube. Somebody stuck the wrong tube in there. My father looked at it and he said, well, I know what tube that thing takes. So we went and got one, plugged it in there, and it worked. I used it for a while. Yeah, this thing is junk now. But anyway, I drew a few. And I also drew an equivalent one single amplifier stage from a transistor circuit. Again, if you want these circuits, you can find them here on YouTube. You can find either the number for the tube or the number for the transistor, which one to use for a particular application, get the component values if you want to create that circuit for yourself. That's a very simple circuit for a vacuum tube and for a transistor. Anyway, if you want those are out there. I haven't drawn up a tube circuit in many years. Now, when I was a kid, all the transistors had been out. Transistors came up before I was born. But when I was a kid, there's still a lot of tube type stuff. And I'll periodically think about all the tube type radios that when I was a kid, all the tube stuff that I tore up just to get the components out of there. And if I had 1 or 2 of those that I'd torn up, if I hadn't torn them up and just saved them, I could make a small fortune on a few of those off of eBay. And I have kicked myself a few times for not saving 1 or 2 of those. Anyway, I do have 2 tube type shortwave receivers that one I found in a wrecking yard, our scrap metal place. I got it for about $5. I just paid the scrap metal price on it. Sometime I need to go back through that thing and troubleshoot it, see what's wrong with it. And another one, I just found it on, on my doorstep. Somebody had left it there, and I've still got both of those. I've got 2 quarter-inch reel-to-reel tape recorders that sometime I need to look at, see what. I think one works. I just need to pull that, clean up a little bit, and I think I just plug it in and make it work. It's a tape deck. You need to add an audio amplifier or a pair of headphones to it. The other one, I'll have to show it to you. Anyway, like I said, if you want those circuits, they're here on YouTube. Somebody's posted them, or you can find them in old magazines, old books and stuff. Back in the day, you could still get magazines that would have the electronic circuits for different devices and stuff. Some DIY electronic projects. I don't think you might find something here on YouTube anymore today. Okay, bye. Or to quote Mr. Carlson, bye for now.